Do you know what that's doing, Jack? Do you know what that's doing? It's loading the weekend. Oh, weekend now loading.
Yeah. Party time.
I got that from a mum's banter group on Facebook. It's Tom and Jack with you for Friday morning. Don't look at me like that.
Sorry.
It hurts my soul. Here is your wrestling news. 2 top stars could be leaving NXT. We have an update on fans attending the Royal Rumble this year, and a WWE Hall of Famer says their in-ring career is definitely over. Maybe. Definitely over. We'll talk about it in a bit. There has been some rumour and innuendo about the 2 names that we're going to mention leaving NXT, but it's looking like it is a done deal and they could be on the way out. So who are we talking about, Jack?
We're talking about Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Now, I'm more surprised about Damian Priest, I think, being included there, because it seemed for a little while like Rhea Ripley's been naturally coming to the end of her NXT tenure, whereas with Damian Priest, I think he still felt like he was very much in the midst of it. But yes, this all comes courtesy of PW Insider, and the current belief is that this week's New Year's Evil broadcast was actually planned to be their final NXT appearances, and then they'll each be moved off to the main roster. However, of course, as PW Insider have pointed out, that can always change based on the whims of Vince McMahon, which we all know to be incredibly true. Now, there was a weird thing, wasn't there, recently about Damian Priest and the fact that he was supposed to be Kevin Owens' best friend on SmackDown, and then Kevin Owens went, that doesn't make sense. No offense to Damian Priest, but why? And then Roman Reigns went, yeah, he's got a point. And then WWE went, right, then we'll scrap that. So I don't know what's going to... Was that Damian Priest or was that somebody else?
It was indeed Damian Priest. So we did talk about this on the channel earlier on in the week. The rumours behind Damian Priest allegedly meant to be debuting on SmackDown on Friday. And as you say, the players involved in that put the kibosh on that and said it just didn't make any sense. It does feel as though that is still going to be a thing that happens, i.e. Priest heading up to the main roster along with Rhea Ripley. It did very much feel like the going out on your back type mentality at New Year's Evil. We saw Damian Priest lose cleanly to Karrion Kross in the opening match, and we saw Raquel Gonzalez defeat Rhea Ripley in a hell of a last woman standing match later on in the night. It was so good, and it feels like this is them sort of signing off and heading off to other things. I think both are over. I think Ripley especially is overdue a push onto the main roster, isn't she?
I would agree with that. I think she's really, really fantastic. And well, I say this. I think she's got all the tools to thrive on the main roster. But then I would have said that about Shayna Baszler, and she lost to Dana Brooke in seconds this week on Raw. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know.
Damian Priest, I think, will do especially well on the count that he is. Let me check my notes. Tall.
Yeah,
very tall.
Well, Rhea Ripley's tall.
That's true.
Maybe she'll be the new Charlotte Flair, although she's already lost to Charlotte. You really spin the wheel when you go from NXT to the main roster, Tom, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Good luck to both. We look ahead to a very important date in the wrestling calendar, January 31st. That's right, my birthday. How lovely of you to remember. It's also the day of the Royal Rumble. What a great gift, giving me the greatest wrestling show of the calendar year on my birthday. Will fans be there, Jack? That's the question.
Not according to John Alba of the Living the Gimmick podcast and Spectrum Sports 360. No, apparently there are no plans for fans to be able to attend the Royal Rumble on January 30th, it says here, Tom, which is actually my mum's birthday, not yours.
It's right. Well, your mum's birthday is very important, but unfortunately, it's not the day of the the Rumble. That's
okay,
January
so it's actually
31st.
It is the 31st.
Defo 31st. That is defo 31st.
Well, according to John Alba, because obviously there was speculation that WWE would be opening the venue for fans, especially with similar venues in the area, such as, Daly's Place for AEW allowing fans in, and the fact that apparently Raymond James Stadium, the football stadium, will have limited fans available for the Super Bowl. This all seemed to indicate that maybe Tropicana Field would be allowing fans to the Royal Rumble, but apparently it will remain a closed set for WWE. Now, Tom, if this is true and there are no fans for the Royal Rumble, and to be fair, I'm in agreement with whatever's safest, whatever's best, But do you think, I mean, it'll be weird watching a Rumble with no fans.
It's going to be an odd one, but I think we've kind of got accustomed to watching wrestling shows without fans there now anyway. It's just, it feels, the Thunderdome has kind of replaced that, and that sort of organic sound we've become somewhat accustomed to. I feel like with the main roster stuff, following their time in the Performance Center where they started slowly letting fans in, then they went the Thunderdome. I think now they're in the Thunderdome, it's kind of going to be all or nothing for fans. It's either you're going to have a lot of people there, like as close to packed as you can get, or Thunderdome webcams and screens and stuff like that. So I think they would rather have it so they have the Thunderdome arrangement with fans on the screens, as opposed to like having that and then a smattering of fans down the front. I think it's that big vibe feel, I think. I guess
what I've done there is I've forgotten about the crowd noise that they pump in, because in my mind I was thinking it would be so weird because you just have a countdown and then and then it's dead silence as Austin makes his return and legs it down to the ring. But no, I mean, you've put I think it will feel similar, won't it?
The thing is, right, the Royal Rumble's so good you could hold it in a bin. And it's still going to be the best wrestling show of the year. Now, I'm not saying the Thunderdome is the bin. The Thunderdome is genuinely some of the best production in wrestling right now. But whatever the outcome, it looks as if there's going to be no fans there. I'm fairly confident they'll keep it that way because they'll want that. I think they'll want to save that. You know, the big return for wrestling in 2021 isn't going to be anybody in ring. It's going to be the fans.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big return for 2021, and they'll probably save that for WrestleMania. Let's look back at Raw Legends Night. Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We've dissected it from various angles this week, but more news has come out about it from two different sources, about two different news sites, about two different wrestlers. So first of all, we've got to talk about Carlito, because according to PW Insider's Mike Johnson, he said, I was told Carlito found out he was just going to get a cameo, not an actual literal cameo, not the... What is it? Is it an
hey, this is Carlito. Congratulations on your bar mitzvah. That kind of cameo.
Or the fact that he's going to get a cameo means it sounds like someone in WWE is going to do one for Carlito. They go, hey, Carlito, buddy, I've heard you're a big fan. But no, Carlito found out he was just getting a small role on the show and said, hey, but thanks, when you want me to come and wrestle or something, I'm happy to do it. I don't want to travel all the way across the country just to do a 2-minute cameo. That's according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider. I hope it's true. It sounds so Carlito, and I respect him more for it. Going, what, you want me to hang around in a corridor for 2 seconds? I'm alright, mate. I think that's good.
Know your worth. Know that a return would be a big deal, and I'd have got nothing from having, hey, there's Carlito chatting with the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
You know, not the Lucha Brothers, that's AEW. I mean, that would be a turn up.
That would be something.
Lucha House
Lucha
Party.
Brothers showed up on Raw.
Oh, in the corridor chatting to Lucha House Party. And then nothing else. Amazing. There was another name that was binned off from, well, not binned off, but wasn't a part of Raw Legends despite being announced, wasn't there?
So, Candice Michelle, and this one comes straight from her, she was talking to Wrestling Inc., and she said that basically she was falsely promoted for the show. Her name was mentioned, but there was never any approach to get her on the show. She said that she was never asked to be there. She would have loved to have been there. She loves it when any time WWE call her. She's always like well up for it. Super honoured to go there, she says, and be called a legend. And as we know, for whatever rhyme or reason, I just wasn't meant for that show. But having you kind of feature me on your site is kind of better, because I'd probably be on the stage doing nothing with 30 other people who are much more famous than I am. And now I get to come on here, she means Wrestling Inc., and actually have a nice little moment just with you guys. So, again, similar reasons to Carlito, but here, and I think rightly so, Candice seems aggrieved because she was kind of mentioned in the build-up, but wasn't actually approached, which is, strange, isn't it?
It feels like, because they've cut back on so many staff within WWE, I feel like there's been a lot of a big old communication breakdown in organising a Legends Night.
Yeah.
It feels very rushed. The whole thing felt very rushed. It was a response to bad ratings. They went, right, Legends Night, call some people. And it just seems like a lot of conversations got missed off and it just felt like a disorganized mess.
Yeah.
You know? And as a result, you're advertising people that you haven't arranged, you haven't booked in yet. It's just, hey, but look, that was Raw Legends Night. That was Monday. And to quote Feeder's chart-smashing hit Buck Rogers,
oh,
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
That's a great... that was brilliant.
Hey, I think we're going to make it. And finally, let's end on a WWE Hall of Famer who, despite rumblings that there may be one more match in the can, that's not going to be a thing. Who are we talking about, Jack?
Well, in the words of Feeder's Feel It's Going Down, I feel we're going down. To talk about Steve Austin, Tom. Such a pro. Yeah, so Steve Austin... was given a recent interview which WWE on Fox's Twitter posted a quote from, and the quote was a very intriguing one for WWE to promote. You'd think that their official, social media affiliates and stuff will be told don't talk about this, but they did. But then the WWE on Fox Twitter account often does what it wants. The quote that they posted from Austin was, "I don't need to go out there and drop anybody on a stack of dimes and give them stunners," which I think pretty much confirms that Steve Austin's... I mean, we kind of knew it anyway, but it's him saying, yeah, I don't need to wrestle anymore. Why would I do that?
And he doesn't. And he doesn't. He's done. No, I don't want to see him wrestle again. I don't want to I don't want to see him do any more sort of in-ring stuff. I think he's... Let's end there. Let's and that's out of love and respect for Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's given so much to the industry. Let him just enjoy the fruits of his labours. Let him enjoy literally retiring to the country.
Yeah,
and then just chilling out on the ranch for the rest of his days. Lord knows he carried the company into prominence. He deserves a little sleep for the rest of his days.
Feeling a moment slip away. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. That is your news for today. Have yourself an amazing weekend. To quote the Feeder song, "Just a Day," I hope you'll be waking up at 12 in your clothes again with your head exploding from a lot of gin.
That's great. That's good. Sam's a big fan of Feeder, actually.
Is he?
Yeah, he likes Feeder, which I was so surprised at. But he saw them live, and apparently they were excellent. So,
well, there you go.
Sam's all, I'm miserable and I like heavy guitars, and then he likes 7 Days in the Sun. What's going on? But no, apparently he thinks Feeder are really good. So, yeah.
If 2021's proving anything, anybody can change, including Sam. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.